I'm doing these physics problems, and there's a question regarding Dyson spheres. Now, for anyone not familiar, a Dyson sphere is a large spherical structure constructed around a star to harness the energy of the star. It's popular in science fiction. It was, according to this, first described in 1959 by physicist Freeman Dyson. Now, uh, obviously we can do the math regarding it, and I was doing that. And one question was, what if we were to try to create artificial gravity within the Dyson sphere so we can, well, walk around and have weight? And essentially the idea was we'd just spin the whole structure, and then, well, it'd be like a centrifuge. That's another popular thing in science fiction, in spacecraft design. And basically I arrived at the answer of, let's see, more specifically, 1,212,802 meters per second, or a more useful answer in my mind would be, let's take a look here, let's see, multiply by 100, divide by 2.54, divide by 12, divide 5280, and wait, we got lost somewhere. Oh, that's per second, right? And then multiply by 3600 seconds to convert to hours, or somewhere in the realm of 2.7 million miles per hour, if I did my calculation correctly. Now that is absurdly fast, and this states the stresses generated by such rotation would be so intense that no material would be able to sustain them, another reason for which such a Dyson sphere would not be physically feasible. Nevertheless, it remains popular amongst many science fiction authors. Now, basically, the question here, basically what it's saying is that it's not possible because no material could bear it. In addition to this particular design requiring nearly 0.1% the mass of the star it's set around. But that is the part I think is impossible, obviously, because it's just absurd to get that much material. But here, I'm not convinced that the stress, now, enormous stress would be produced. Nothing that exists now could sustain it. But I find it unwise to use an absolute term in the world of science. It seems like somebody, and particularly engineering, it seems like somebody always finds a way given enough time. Now, granted, some things may never be answered. The speed of light seems to be the upper limit, for instance. And by the way, this is a ridiculously high speed. It would take a lot of energy to get something going that fast. But I think it's unwise to say it's impossible, unless there is something I'm missing here. Maybe there's a rule somewhere in the world of material science that states that no, nothing can take that much stress. The kind of forces that would be experienced by rotation with such a mass, at such a speed. But assuming that there isn't, assuming that it's just an insane amount of centripetal force and inertia, I think, yes, that we could figure out. I think, given enough time, a material could be developed. Now, maybe I'm wrong, maybe there is no way, but I think it seems foolish to use an absolute term. But yes, definitely for now, that's impossible. I also think a Dyson sphere is an entirely impractical design. I don't think there's any good reason to attempt to build one. But regardless, I thought that was interesting. Anyway, so yeah, that's basically what I just was thinking about when I read this. I just thought it seems premature to state that no material could ever handle that, as material science is always advancing. But like I said, I'm not a materials scientist. I don't know. Maybe even if it is possible, I imagine it'd be so ridiculously difficult to develop a material that could handle such force. And besides, there's no point in even doing it. As far as the Dyson sphere would be as presented by some of the other things discussed in here, this would be a very, very impractical project. But regardless, I just thought that was kind of interesting. Don't underestimate the power of materials science.